Hello and welcome to Unleashed. I'm your host, Will Bachman, and I'm delighted to be here today with Kartik Sundar, who is the founder of TeamSlide, which is a pretty cool tool to help make PowerPoint slides using AI. And he is also a former case team leader at Bain, so he has personal experience cranking out slides himself. Kartik, welcome to the show.
Hi, Will. Thanks so much for having me.
So we're gonna do kind of a demo here. This is an audio only episode, so only my eyes will be able to get to see it, but I'll be narrating what I see and we'll be taking some screenshots along the way so we can publish those on the website for this show. So if you go in the show notes, you'll see the link. It's at umbrex.com/unleashed. So Kartik, why don't you share your screen and let's look at this tool.
Sure. Thanks, Will. Let me jump right in. So TeamSlide, our new slide generation feature, is available through a web browser, but also through a PowerPoint add-in.
Okay, cool.
Typically, as users first are introduced to it, they start in the web browser, and over time, as they get comfortable, they can get the PowerPoint add-in and use it in PowerPoint itself, where there's a more seamless access to the features, and there are extra features as well in there. But I'll start in the browser. I'll do a couple examples here, and we'll flip over so you get a sense of what it's like in both interfaces.
All right. And where should, and if listeners want to just go right now and sign up, let's share the URL here right at the top of the hour.
Sure. It's create.teamslide.com. It's a specialized site just for the slide generation feature. And users can go in and get access immediately from there.
All right. And we will, if you didn't catch that, we'll share that link in the show notes. Okay. So walk me through it.
Excellent. So what TeamSlide does is it takes your notes and converts it to a consulting style slide. So you can come into the interface, you can drop in your notes as simple or as complex as you want. In here, I've got like an executive summary that I wrote. And you hit create slide. And what this does is it builds a slide for you using consulting best practices in terms of the visual design, in terms of the way the text is written on there. You can see here it's generated first slide and it gives you alternate layouts if you don't like the one it chose.
This is pretty sweet. Now let me narrate what I've been seeing here. So, and maybe even take a screenshot of this so people can see it on the website. So we started out with a kind of chat interface look that you'll be familiar with if you've used any LLMs at all. It wasn't exactly the same as ChatGPT, but it was a kind of a space for a prompt and had some kind of options below it. And you just paste it in. And now what I'm seeing is it's already generated like a range of alternate, like a generated slide with all the content. And then it gives me 5 or 6 different options of different layouts of the same content. That's pretty nice. So tell me a little bit more about what we're seeing right here.
Yeah, so what TeamSlide's able to do, it's able to identify a layout that's best suited for the story that you want to tell.
Yeah.
It restructures that layout. I've asked for 4 takeaways, and so it's created 4 rows here, essentially, with each of those takeaways. And then it's filled in the slide using your notes and so adding to it so that it fits the look and feel along with the voice of a consultant on there.
Okay. Now, one question is, let's say that I have a pretty good idea of how I'd like it to look. Can I tell it to say, hey, please create a, boat chart with 4 chunks, and I want the chunks to be the following, and this is the data in each one. Can I be more directive like that?
Yeah, so you can be directive in a couple of different ways. I'll click on new slide so I can show you an example. The first is you can actually select the layout you want first. So you
Okay.
click on that, you can go in here and find the specific layout you want. For example, I'll pick this market overview layout that I often use on there. And so if I know exactly what I want, it'll use it. And then I can drop in any data that I want in here, and it'll convert it into that specific slide on there. I managed to close the data I had, but I'll pull it up real quick here. And the more you prescribe in your notes, the more it'll use that information as best as it can in there. But what it does is also considers how big the different text boxes are, for example. And so if your sentence is too long for that space, it will then edit to make it fit. And so that the look and feel is also maintained while your message there. So here I have some global EV sales.
Yeah.
And I can drop that in. I've selected my template. and I've just dropped in a table with some data in there. Hit create slide. It'll fill in that chosen template for me. But it also, in addition to filling it in, it also reshapes the template if needed. This template, for example, has market drivers. If I wanted 4 market drivers or 3 market drivers, it will adjust that section for me very specifically. So I can go in and be very prescriptive about which drivers I want, and those will be reflected in here.
That's pretty sweet. So this was a chart with a kind of column chart on the left, and then some market drivers or some takeaway kind of insights on the right-hand side, some text on the right with some insights and drivers, and boom, it just came up with it very nicely. It took the table of data and turned that into a nice column chart with units appropriately done and years on the right. Just this is really beautiful. Now, what if I have my own PowerPoint template? I'm sure you get that asked a lot. Can I do it in my own template, or do I have to download this and copy and paste it into my template? How does that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for independent users, you cannot insert your own template yet. But
Okay.
we've designed our template to be very transferable. So it applies all PowerPoint best practices. And so it can easily transfer to your template on there. So we've followed the right rules. And so when you copy and paste it into your presentation, it'll work out. When we work with consulting firms and other enterprises, they can specify their template, but they can also specify their specific layouts. So if they have a flow diagram that looks different because it has shading or an underline, that's not a problem. We'll inject intelligence into their layouts to make them smart layouts, essentially.
And maybe you can download this slide that we're looking at now, so we can paste this one as a screenshot on the web page when we publish the episode, because that is a sweet looking slide. I mean, if I produced a slide like this after 2 years at McKinsey, after my business, I would have been proud to produce this slide after 2 years at the firm. It is a beautiful, professionally done slide as a source line. I mean, very much McKinsey style, and more of a McKinsey vibe in terms of color scheme than your Bain days, Kartik. This has the sort of standard McKinsey headline. It has a subhead. It has the formatting is just super nice in terms of same kind of font size on the graph, and on the right-hand side, the drivers have nice little blue boxes around them. Just looks really like a sharp page, right?
Yeah, thanks so much. We spend a lot of time prescribing and checking and validating the slides as well as what output we get from the AI. So rather than just throwing it to an LLM and getting a response back and putting that in, there's a lot of pre-processing and post-processing that happens to ensure you get a clean layout built in. And we are slowly over time expanding our vocabulary of the layouts we can produce and adding more features in them as well on there.
Okay. So let's go back to the online tool before we get to the plugin. Walk me through just some of the templates that are built in that you'd say are pretty strong right now. Like what are the types of templates that are popular, that you put special effort into?
Sure. So there are a range of them on there, and we have your typical set of templates that you would, as a consultant, would use, your flows, your executive summaries, some data visualization on there. But then we have more specialized templates as well. I just showed you the market overview one. We have one here that is a maturity curve on there. We have funnels, Venn diagrams, even an iceberg slide in here as well. So we range from general slides that are used in almost any use case, flows and steps. But then we also have very specialized slides that can be used for specific use cases on there. And we're slowly expanding that set as well.
Okay. Yeah. So scroll down a little bit more. I'm seeing there's, various different iterations of text-based slides with, boxes on the left and bullet points on the right-hand side. There's some bar charts. There's kind of a Venn diagram kind of a chart, timeline slide, SWOT slide, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. There's tables of text, different iterations. There's an org chart. So there's one of the 3 horizons of growth kind of slide. So a nice variety of slides to choose from as your base, as the starting point.
Yeah. And some of our slides, we're able to restructure them in quite a complex way to get exactly what you want. So for example, with this org chart here, I can specify, like consulting engagement with 4 teams.
Yeah.
It'll build that out for me. And you can actually even specify how many people per team and their names,
Yeah.
and it'll build that org chart for you.
Okay.
So our ability to manipulate slides and create exactly what you want
Hmm.
is quite advanced and tailored to what consultants typically want to build on
Yeah.
that. On that.
All
So
right.
you see here, it's generated the four teams and put sample people in, but if you specify the team members you want, it'll put them in there for you.
All right. So this is something that people can explore and play around with. So this one, you told me, remind me again the pricing. It's one of my favorite prices for this.
On there. So for independent consultants, they can go to our website, create.teamslide.com, and get free access to the tool on there.
Nice. Okay. That's cool. So that's if you want to create the slide online, and then you can download the slide and it just downloads as a PowerPoint file. What about the plugin? Talk to me about, show me that, what the plugin
Yeah,
looks
yeah, sounds great. In PowerPoint, you can get a PowerPoint add-in for TeamSlide. It's available in Microsoft's App Source.
like. Oh, okay.
And it's just a simple icon, the TeamSlide icon up in here. We have a number of other features, but I'll jump right into the slide generator. And it looks very similar
Hmm.
to what you just saw in the browser, but more focused to fit within the add-in space inside PowerPoint. So now you can work side by side with your deck, and instead of downloading and copying and pasting, it'll insert seamlessly into there
Okay.
for you.
Now, if you're working in your PowerPoint template, when it generates a slide, does it generate it in your color scheme and so forth, or does it generate it like the standard? How does that work? Or
It'll generate it it'll transfer to your color scheme.
it'll transfer to that. Okay.
Yeah, on there.
And your styling or whatever your color scheme.
Exactly.
All
On
right.
here. On here.
That's pretty sweet. Now, before you jump to sort of the LLM version, when you first clicked on TeamSlide, it looked like select by industry or by tags or whatever. So explain this piece to me. This is a search. So is this like what are we seeing here?
Sure. So this is a little outside of the scope of the slide generation, but where TeamSlide started, we've been working with consulting firms for about 10 years, is a knowledge management and slide search tool on
Hmm.
there. So for teams and organizations that use this, what they do is they address a few different use cases. The first is you can point TeamSlide to your knowledge repository, SharePoint, Box, wherever you might have that, and it's able to help you find any slide in there. As your knowledge repository adapts and changes, that information flows automatically into TeamSlide, including metadata in there. So you're able to search and find a needle in a haystack. For example, I did this project 3 years ago. It featured certain words. I can find that very easily in here. It keeps images at your fingertips. It keeps templates at your fingertips. Just a nice way to keep your most important files handy so that anyone can find them very quickly on there.
Okay, so that's the search function if you do connect it to your SharePoint or Box or knowledge repository where it can search your old slides. So it says knowledge or images or templates or search or all, and these would be based on your own library.
That's right.
But if you don't connect it to that and you don't have your own library, you click on the other button, the AI assistant, and then that generates slides for you.
Exactly on
Cool.
there. So all the same functionality in that browser, but set to fit in an add-in, so you can work side by side with it in here.
And I'm curious, how did you come up with sort of the templates and the knowledge that went into it? Did you have some big collection of publicly available slides from, the big consulting firms, or what was sort of the training data?
The training data. Yeah. So we didn't have to train on a large set of data. It's about picking the right layouts that we felt were most important and would add the most value. And that comes from our experience. It comes from what's published by a whole host of firms online, getting inspiration from there. All the all the big firms have publications that they produce.
Sure.
And so that was a source of inspiration as we built this out, and a lot of just experience from building slides on there. And then we have a great design team, to capture that and make it perfect on slide on there.
Okay. So this it works similarly to what we saw on the online version. It's the PowerPoint add-in. And remind me, so how would someone get that? They go to the Microsoft Store and they would buy it. Is it free there, or how do you download that?
Yeah, it's free to get from the Microsoft Apps source, but from our website, the web browser version of this, there's a little button right at the top where you
Oh, I
can click
see.
on this and it directs you
So
to
you
get.
don't need to remember the link. Okay, you can
No,
there go to Microsoft Store, get the download, and then I don't know if I've ever done a PowerPoint add-in. What if once you go to the store and you download it, is it trivial, or what does someone have to do to actually get it to add on to their PowerPoint
yeah,
program?
luckily Microsoft walks you through it. It first takes you to like the App Store page or the App Source page, I should say. And in there you can then come in and say, get it now, and that will then add it into your PowerPoint, I should say, on there, and it opens it up right away. So it's inserted at the end of your home ribbon, so it's easy to see.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's only one icon, so it sort of doesn't overtake everything you have. And when you first add it, it opens up with a login screen where you can either log in if you already have credentials, or you can create a new account and get started right away on there.
All right.
And users can log in with LinkedIn or Google or yeah, as a couple of examples, so you can get access very easily.
Very cool. Give us a little bit more history of your firm. So you've been doing this since 2014, but you didn't have the AI version when you first started or for the first few years. So tell us what you were doing, in the earlier years, and when did you build out and how did you build out this AI aspect of it?
Sure. So when we were consultants, my co-founder and I, we were both consultants at Bain. During those days, it was hard to find slides that you want. And back in 2014, you'd often have like a big deck that was circled around and people would pull from there. And so we thought that was a great opportunity to try and improve that process. We first started with a deep slide search tool that would connect to 1 million slides if you were at a large firm, for example, and would help you find, it would dig through all of that when you ran a search and help you find the individual slide on there. We were
Mhm.
lucky to get traction with both big firms and boutique operations on there. And over time, we've sort of added more and more features. One of the ones where I guess my arm was twisted, but ended up being one of our most popular features is this templates interface, where firms can keep their best 50 or 100 or even more templates in here and have easy access to them. Um, Many of our customers, prior to being TeamSlide customers, would insert a lot of those templates into the slide master. Crowding the slide master, you end up with unused templates that make your files very heavy,
Yeah.
and give them a way to unload that. And while unloading that, it freed up their design teams to now provide 100 different agenda slides if they want, so people can find the right,
Mm.
right one. So over the years, we got traction with consulting firms. We found that marketing and sales teams needed a simplified version of this. They don't have 1 million slides, but they have 500 or 1,000 or 5,000 key slides that everyone needs access to. And so we serve a range of marketing and sales teams, financial services. And then when with the AI boom coming out, we took our time to see what was going to stick. We didn't want to sort of test externally. We did a lot of testing internally to see what features and tools people would want. And it became very clear that a consulting style slide generator would be a hit with our audiences on there, and something that we could uniquely address given our experience.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, why don't we get click on the AI assistant there. I want to take a screenshot of that so listeners can check the website for this slide. So listeners, you'll be able to see here what it looks like when you're in PowerPoint and you have the TeamSlide add-in installed here, what the AI window looks like. It is similar to the website version, but you also get, your own slide on the left. Um,
And
so
then for the add-in users, there's a little bonus set of features in here where you can edit your slide um, with AI functionality. So you can for example, make bullets parallel or generate an executive summary or rewrite your slide title on here. So just quick tools to help you edit your slide, to polish it, to make sure it's what you want to present in front of a client on there.
Nice. So you can generate bullet points from text. You can shorten the text, remove the jargon, highlight keywords, adjust the tone, make bullets parallel. It's all pretty sweet. Oh, tone. You can have different tone characters.
Yeah.
Neutral, confident, professional, diplomatic, enthusiastic, formal, inspirational, persuasive. Choose your tone. Um, awesome. Very cool. So, for enterprises, talk to us about, so you said it's free for independent consultants. For enterprises, tell us about your pricing and about, for if someone has a larger team, what's the advantage of using the enterprise version versus just having everybody sign up with the free product?
Sure. So with the enterprise version, we tailor the solution to their brand and their voice on
Right.
there. So we have standard instructions on how to write slide titles, but we can work with them to adjust those things from big things like how data forward you want to be. For example, some of our customers have very specific about mentioning facts and data points and backing every bullet out, where some are more leave that to the chart as opposed to mentioning that in the bullets and making the bullets heavy. So we can fold that in voice into it.
Mm.
And to the simple end, like I was always trained to use sentence case for headers, but some firms prefer title case. So we can fold those in.
Okay.
But we also start with their layout. So it's not building elsewhere and sort of modifying into their brand. It's building with their slides from the ground up.
From the ground up. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
Pricing depends on the number of users. But if I pick a ballpark number for maybe 100 users,
mm,
it's about $140 a person a year.
mm.
There's some, yeah, that's like the base price. There's a little bit of customization charges, but hopefully that gives the audience a rough sense.
Okay, that's helpful to know. Awesome. Fantastic. So it's create.teamslide.com. We'll put that in the show notes, and we'll also have some uh, images you can check out on umbrex.com/unleashed to get a better sense of what it looks like. And then maybe that'll inspire you to go and sign up. I mean, it's free, so why not? Go check it out. Kartik, thanks so much for coming on the show, and congrats on building this cool product.
Thanks so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to work with you, Will.